Jacob Soboroff did this report on basically just for Morning Joe, just fully again spelling out the Trump administration's family separation policy, and I'm not going to introduce it too much. This is just something obviously it's ongoing, and we need to keep abreast of.
But this Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General report, the first one, basically says the administration was not prepared for this family separation policy, and sort of the practices that they put into place made this policy far worse. We heard a lot about kids not being in cages. Well, the report says not only were kids in cages, but they were in these cages for longer than the 72-hour period that anybody is supposed to be kept in these Border Patrol holding cells. We were told in this report that the computer database that the administration said was supposed to be there in order to reunite these children and keep track of them never actually existed in the first place. And we were told as well that the idea that people were being turned away from ports of entry and then going and crossing illegally because of administration policy wasn't true. Well, it turns out that also was true. So all these lines that we got fed from the administration over the summer, this report basically tears apart. And then just quickly, I want to talk about this other report that also came out on the same day about the nation's largest private immigration detention facility. It's called Adelanto, and it's here in Southern California. Just really sickening stuff. I've also been inside that facility. Probably the worst detail of that one is nooses were found inside detainee cells, and we know that separated fathers, many separated fathers, were actually held inside this facility. Inadequate medical care, inadequate detention facilities, and increasing segregation, isolation for these people. We're looking at some of those nooses there.
So, again, I mean, we already know what this policy is. We knew it, and more horrifying reports are going to continue to come out and spell not only the ways, obviously, that all the administration lies about this vicious and grotesque attack on human beings as part of a larger strategy to ethnically cleanse America and engineer a Republican electorate. But we've also known, again, this is another area where the idea of pretending that they can ever have the benefit of the doubt, or that this is anything like a legitimate policy disagreement, is out the window. This is a vicious attack on people, which they continue in many different ways, and they will continue to lie about. And, and this is one of those things where, look, obviously, you absolutely need to vote for Democrats in November, period, at every single level. And the infrastructure, and this is the key distinction, the dumb whataboutism, and that is Jimmy Dore bullshit. Well, Obama did this, so blah, 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 and all of a sudden we're not talking about the Trump-Republican war on human beings now. That's whataboutism and a distraction from now. Conversely, yes, if you just limit it to the latest, most extreme manifestation, and it's different under Trump because it is literally demographic engineering and ethnic cleansing, which is different than violating human rights in a foolish attempt to triangulate to get a deal on immigration, which is what Obama was doing. Those are fundamentally different things. They're both wrong things, but they're fundamentally different categories. But the third point being, absolutely the apparatus of things like ICE, which can and should be abolished. And I say this as somebody, I don't just, throw abolish around for everything. I think sometimes institutions have resiliency for reasons. Sometimes we need to think in terms of intelligently and structurally democratizing and reforming them. That's not something you just throw out for everything. ICE is a modern creation that has been used by both Republicans and Democrats to engineer bureaucracy and also all the other interconnected systems of private surveillance businesses, bounty hunters, detention centers, this whole profitable cabal of human abuse that goes back to the 90s. This needs to be fundamentally dismantled. And that absolutely is something that people on the actual left and with a serious commitment are, of course, going to be confronting all sorts of Democrats about. because the emergency is Trump. The emergency is this Republican ethnic cleansing, this Republican torture of children. And the broader structure is a system that was bipartisan and designed to benefit campaign contributors and set up a bureaucracy that allows for where we're at now.
I'm still stuck on the nooses.
Yeah.
What is going on with that? That's very disturbing.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is, like, we know that there's going to be more and more horrifying disclosures. We know that. And we've already seen it. Child abuse, physical assaults. And they're going to lie about every single thing. So, that's just the state of play.
It's fascism.
It's fascism. That is absolutely fascism.
We have it here, folks.
It's barbarism. It's fascism. There's no humanity. There's nothing that can be reconciled or negotiated with.
No.
It's a pure assault on anything that anybody with any decency whatsoever would hold as valuable. And there's no third way on it.